And we are live for actually the 50th episode of Digital Dreamers Spotlight Interview Series. And wow, that's all I can say. Hitting that number is pretty cool, actually. And it really, I mean, it's kind of one of those little things like, wow, we did it. So thank you, Deb, for actually being here all the way from the UK. So it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, your time, and early morning, well, not early, 9 a.m. my time. But thank you very much for being here. And just tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and thank you.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much, Elden, for having me on. And it is great to finally meet you face to face.
Yes, it really is, actually.
So, yes, my name is Deborah King. I am originally from the UK. I don't actually live here anymore. I live in Jamaica, even though I'm not there right now. I'm just visiting the UK. And for those of you that don't actually know me, I love to travel. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I love to travel, and hence why I'm here in the UK. Um, I how I started traveling. Well, first of all, I was an ex finance officer when I used to live in the UK 9 years ago. I was an ex finance officer for 16 years, and I was also a Reiki healer back in the day.
I didn't know that. That's cool. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. I'm actually a Reiki master. So I put that on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a healing practice, but I had a room upstairs in my house. And while I was a finance officer, I used to do the healing in the evenings and the weekends. And one day, sorry, this might be a little bit long.
Oh, no.
So, one day, I kind of condensed my hours down to 4 days. I condensed 5 days into 4 days with my finance job. And I was working so hard. And one particular day, I didn't actually eat and I didn't actually drink. But yet I still went back home and I did a healing treatment for my friend, my next door neighbor. And during the healing treatment, I actually passed out. It wasn't funny at the it wasn't funny at the time. I can laugh now though. I passed out for like 2 minutes. And when I came through, I didn't even know what had happened to me. But my friend was obviously over me. She was panicking and she ran downstairs. She got my son. My son came upstairs and they were both trying to like wake me up. And when I came through, the whole room was just spinning like crazy. I couldn't stand up. It was so bad. They called the ambulance. The ambulance came out. They managed to get me into bed. And to cut a long story short, I actually spent 7 months trying to get well. I didn't go back to work. I was off work for 7 months. And because of that, I had a lot of time to think about my life, as you do when you're off work. And I love to write. So I was doing a lot of writing throughout that time. And my dream was to travel a lot. So I thought to myself, okay, I don't want to go back to work, but how am I going to fund my traveling dream? How am I going to do this? I have a mortgage to pay. So I spent a lot of time thinking about that. And I decided that I wasn't going to go back to work. I thought, right, no, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I've decided that, I'm not going back. So I had to figure out how am I going to fund my dream. So I decided eventually that I will rent my house out. And when I finally did go back to work, I walked into my office and I was there for about 5 minutes. And all of a sudden I just burst into tears because I realized that this realization of going back to work, and I knew I didn't want to be there. I knew there was much more to my life than doing the 9 to 5. And I always thought that there's so much more to my life than this, but I just didn't know how or what that looked like. So I burst into tears and I couldn't like console myself. I was like bawling for 5 minutes straight and had to try and explain to my boss at the time why I was crying. I explained to her that, I have a dream. This is what I want to do. I want to write. I want to travel. Blah, blah. She backs me 100%. Anyway, I wrote my resignation that day and I handed it over. And because I worked in a school, I had to finish the academic year, and that was only 2 months. So basically, I left September 2014, rented my house out. I packed my car up with a lot of my stuff. I sold most of my furniture, gave away a lot of my clothes. Didn't know where I was going, Elden. It was crazy, but I knew deep in my heart that okay, I got this. I know there's something out there for me. I don't know what it is right now, but I'm going for it. I'm going
Wow.
for it. So anyway, I went off traveling, met my husband while I was traveling, which was fantastic. And then we decided that we were going to travel the globe together. Anyway, I went to Jamaica. My family are Jamaican. My parents are Jamaican. So I decided that, okay, my first place was going to just go to Jamaica. Anyway, sorry, I'm really going on, aren't I?
Oh no, this is great. It's a great history because I mean it's fantastic. I didn't know most of this, so keep,
Okay.
keep going. This is great.
Okay. So I I was though I rented my house out, I had an income from my home, but it wasn't actually that much to sustain me. Okay. So I thought I need to do something else. Okay, I need to find something to do. So I was interested in the online space, but I didn't know what that would look like. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I wanted to start my own business, but I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to start. And I have a big thing about dream boards and vision boards. So I made a dream board, put it over my desk, and I had on there lots of other things. But the one major thing that I had was an online business. So literally 3 days after I put that on my board, I found this online business.
Well, that says a lot, doesn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And go ahead, you was going to say something.
Well, I just think I wasn't sure if you had more to say or what you were going to say next.
Oh,
So,
I could talk forever on that.
but everything that you said is so cool, and so but it takes courage.
Mm,
Like you when you made all your decisions. Like I mean, I honestly, I mean, first that you had an understanding boss was just an amazing thing all by itself,
yeah, yeah, she's pretty cool.
right? That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen a lot in this world anymore.
Yeah,
Um, I
right.
mean, people, right? Because they have their mission, they have their job too. But with you, you know, doing, you had a big reality wake up, and so sometimes I call those 2x4 moments in my world, where all of a sudden you get smacked in the head and saying, hey, this isn't working anymore,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
and you had your 7 months off, but at the same time, you really focused on what you knew there was more, and you knew you wanted more. And
And
no, go.
and the thing for me was I was actually more scared of not making that decision than actually making that decision, if that makes sense. I was more scared of staying where I was. I thought to myself that I didn't hate my life. I mean, I didn't even like hate my job, but I knew that that's not what I was here to do. I knew there was more for me. So I had this big like pull. You know when you feel like you're being pulled to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, the universe was just calling me, and I didn't fight it. I did not fight it. I made up my mind that I'm not staying here. I'm not doing continuing my life like this. I have to, and if I don't, then I'm going to stay here, and I don't want to stay here. I want to move forward. So I really pushed and pushed past my comfort zone every step of the way. I'm not saying it was easy.
No.
It was a little nerve wracking, but my pull was a lot stronger.
See it, and I think that is just so cool all by itself, because it's fascinating how you said you were more scared of not making the decision than you were of the decision. And people today, I think there's a lot of people who are exactly like you, but instead of pushing through to make that decision and
Yeah,
follow it, they revert to the tried and true, this is what I know, this is what is working,
Yeah.
right? Um, then actually pushing through and really doing it, because I don't think you're alone. For a lot of people, when they have that call, or that they know that there's something better, but I think you are different in that you listened and you didn't fight.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right, and I think that, now this is totally off, well, it's not really off topic, but I would think, and this is just my assumption, knowing that you're a Reiki master, um, that helped you to a degree.
Yeah, it
Right.
did. It did. Yeah, I think it definitely helped me at the time, because I had a lot of time to, because I was by my son was there as well, but because I spent a lot of time during those 7 months on my own, I had a lot of time to just be still and do a lot of meditating, because I love meditating as well. So I had a lot of time to just sit and connect,
Yeah.
you know, and that's when you get all your answers. Really, you cannot get your answers unless you if you're rushing around and you're not taking time out for yourself. You have to take that time out.
You do. And I think that a lot of people, I mean, you hear, well, I mean, I see people and I talk to people all the time on how they're always going. They don't take time for themselves. Usually, they, whether it's a man or a woman, it doesn't really matter. They're just going and going and going, doing what they think they should be doing,
Hmm.
and they don't stop. And whenever you get a reality check like yours, um,
Yeah.
they stop and realize. And I think that, um, the whole pandemic, which we don't really talk about anymore, but I do. Well, I still do, because I think during that time it was a big wake up call for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at your life and you realize that, when you go from going, 100 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, and you get stopped cold in your tracks,
Yeah.
and you have to do the survival thing, and you have to do a bunch of other things, but
Yeah.
when it all kind of sorts out, you realize that how your life has been, isn't necessarily what you ever wanted.
No, exactly.
And I think so. I think that there's a lot of, as weird as this is going to sound, there was a lot of blessings that came out of the pandemic, because people started to realize that they could do different things. They wanted
Yeah.
more out of life. And so you were a pioneer on that path, shall I say, because you realized it before. Uh, um, so I think that's awesome. And so when you found this business, and I honestly do believe, like, your vision board and your dream board, whatever you might want to call it, and it showed this to you. I think that this business will show itself to people when they're ready, or at least if they're open to an option to be something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and for you, um, I think it's fascinating that you knew you wanted an online business, but you didn't know what that was. So,
Yeah.
had you ever done, well, I have to say one other thing and then I'll go back to that because it's cool. So, you being, and this is just for people who may not think about this, but I do. So, you going from the finance world, which is very logical, right?
Hmm.
It is, and being a Reiki master, which isn't logical, in its own way. I mean, for people who have done, um, that, they may disagree with me, but the external world would look at it and going, that's a stretch between the two, but it's an awesome stretch. So,
Yeah.
uh, now when we're talking about the online business, had you ever looked at anything else before, or had you just kind of thought about it?
I thought about it. I thought about doing a blog, because did I have a blog at the time? No, I didn't have a blog, but I was thinking about doing a blog at the
Yeah.
time, and I didn't really know even what that entailed. Um, I did eventually do that, but I did not know what I was. I really honestly didn't have a clue. All I knew is that I did not want to go back to the 9 to 5. I wanted to wake up when I wanted to wake up. I didn't want to wake up to an alarm clock anymore. I wanted to work for myself, and I just wanted to answer to myself. I don't do very well with people telling me what to do at all. So I didn't want to go back to that. So I thought, okay, online has to be the way to go. I'm my own boss. I'll be my own boss. So
and
yeah.
and so, okay, so then this is fascinating to me, because um, another lady who was one of the people who I interviewed quite a while ago now. But she described our info session in a way that since then it honestly makes more sense than what we call it, and and it would have fit perfectly into your search, shall I say, and not
Yes.
really search, but you're being open because our info session is basically an online, how do I say this, an online business success in like orientation,
Hmm.
really
Oh, I
it
like
is,
that.
right? It when you look at it, it's like, okay, if you want a successful online business, this is what you need to have, and then it elaborates as to what we do. But so it would have made sense to you because it really broke down what it was, what you need as the key elements to having a successful online business, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because the thing is, because I didn't know what that online business was going to be, was going to be, or what entail. This, when I watched that info session, it hit me.
Yeah.
You know, you just get this feeling. And I thought, I remember the day like so clearly. I was watching it, and my heart was like racing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found it. I know I found it. I know I found it. I know I found it. And then when I bought in, and then I finally got to see the what it entailed and the training, I thought it has everything for me. This is like a business in a box. That's the only way that I can describe it for like anybody that's looking for an online business, but they don't really know what direction or what to do. This is already there for you.
It's true, and when you and I mean I'm very familiar with online business, and I have been for a long time. And so initially when I looked at that, I thought, well, this is interesting. But it none of it did it surprise me, right? Or like it's like, okay, well, for me, I was like, well, yeah, I know all this. Why are you telling me this? And but since then, I've changed my point of view, of course, because there's a
Yes.
lot of people who really are out there who don't know what they're looking for, and when they do that, it opens up whole new doors. And that's the part that I really really love about it, is because we do tell you what you need, and it's 100% right.
Yeah.
It's when I look at it from a different point of view, I'm going, okay, yeah, this is right, and you're right. The
Yeah.
best way to describe it is it's a business in a box.
Yeah.
What's missing is you.
Yeah, yeah, and as I was watching, I'm thinking, oh, well, they're talking to me. They're talking directly at me. It's like, you know what's in my heart and soul right now, and you're talking to me. And I was like,
And,
yeah.
and that part is cool. And I mean, so I've hosted the webinar many times, as we call it, or the info session. And the coolest part I think about that, I'm going on this about way too long, but anyway, this is where I was going. But the people who share experiences on there, um, nobody knows what they're going to say until they open their mouths, and I love that part. I
Yeah,
love hearing, where they've come from or what this business is doing for them, and there's nothing as magical to me as watching people change,
yeah.
which ties into your whole kind of focus. So this is very cool. So we could talk a long time, but we're not going to. So the one thing that so what is your favorite part about the business, or do you have one?
My favorite part of the business is actually helping my mentees, because I love to see people grow. I love to see people change. The same way that I've changed through the business. I wouldn't be doing this live like a year and a half ago. There's no way I'd be doing this. So when I
Yeah.
with my mentees, when they join with me and become my team, I could see the growth in them, like step by step. I can see it in them, and I love that. I love watching them change, and
Yeah.
I love watching them flourish. And obviously the money is great too, but
Yeah.
I'm all about helping others. And this is another thing that I love about this business, is that you're in it to help other people grow as well as yourself.
Yeah.
And that just warms my heart.
And it's fascinating. I mean, it's we all let's be serious, because I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
In it. But that's one thing that I think, that when we start this business, none of us are thinking that.
No,
right?
no.
We're there to make money, and yes, the money is great. There's no complaints on the money. And so when I'm looking at what you said, like when I help the mentees, same as you, and you watch them change,
Yeah.
and they gain, like you said, when you started, you wouldn't be, well, you wouldn't be doing this live when you first started.
No, no, of course not.
And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have been doing them either, but when you when you turn around and you watch people grow, um,
Mhm.
that part is just so cool.
Yeah.
And because of we take people who may not have a lot of experience in online or even business or anything, and you watch them gain those little moments of confidence, and then they grow and they grow, and you go, okay, this is just so cool. And and anybody external who watches it, I think they think that we're kind of, I don't know what they think,
I
honestly.
think, yeah, I don't think they believe it. They
No,
just
I don't.
think I think they think, yeah, that's just too good to be true.
Yeah, but
But it's true.
and that's the whole part, because it is true, right? And so when we say that, I think people think we just are making it up, but
Yeah.
honestly, like that, those moments, and sometimes, I don't know about you, but when you're having somebody and you've helped them and they're growing and stuff like that, and they make a comment about something that,
Mhm.
they never thought they'd be able to do X,
Yeah.
and those moments come out of the blue
Yeah.
for me, right? It's all of a sudden somebody will say, hey, you know what I did? I did X. And it's like, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big deal for them.
Yeah.
And
It's
yeah, go ahead.
it's like one of my mentees right now. She's done 2 lives, and when she first started this business, she wasn't even really on Facebook. She had a Facebook page, but she never really posted on it.
Yeah,
And when she first started, she says, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't like take pictures of me and like put it on
yeah,
Facebook. I can't do that." But watching her now, and there's no way she would have done a live either. Like, no, I mean, nobody does live straight away, but even if you asked me to back in the day, I would never have done it.
yeah.
But yeah, I watch her now, and it's absolutely amazing watching her. And I congratulated her the other day, and she was just so happy and grateful.
It's yeah, those gratitude moments, um, are better than anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and you we get them often,
yeah,
which actually helps to um for us to grow too, right?
that's right.
Because then we look at the money, and the money's good, and we're doing the business, and that's what happens. But I love being able to help people help themselves.
Yeah, it's the best feeling.
It is, and most people, I've done a lot of businesses in the past, and where that could have been the, one of the things is, you're helping others, and none of them ever gave me the feelings that I get from this business.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so I've often looked at that and thought, well, why is this different? And I think it ties into what our training does, but I also think that, um, we realize relatively soon that we're more than just money.
yeah. You do get to realize that. Yeah,
And I think that so many people, like in their day-to-day life, I mean, they've got to pay the bills, they've got to do this, they've got to go to work, they've got to.
yeah,
And when you stop and realize it, and it's like, what can I do to help me, but help others?
yeah. And this is it.
It's true. It's true.
Simple as that. This is it.
It's true. So okay, so we're gonna wrap up now. Um,
Okay.
but what would you say to somebody who stumbles across the video or an ad or anything like that, wherever this might be? What would you tell them?
I would say if you have that feeling, because obviously they've stumbled across the ad, they've clicked on the ad, so they're obviously looking for something like this. But a lot of people I realize are have a lot of fear in starting something. Okay, they're okay in their little comfort zone, and they're scared to step out of that comfort zone. So I always say just bite that fear for just 30 seconds. Just step on that fear for 30 seconds and step over and out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay. and just look at the bigger picture, because you can't, if you stay in that comfort zone, you're not going to get anywhere in life. Sorry, you're just not,
No.
unfortunately.
And I totally agree with you, because people, you hear the skepticism, and I mean, I was a skeptical person when we first looked at this,
Yeah.
honestly, but that was based on what I thought. And I'm really grateful that I actually, there was a couple little things that really niggled at me and went, is that true? That I needed more information on. And it
Yeah.
was, for me, it was me proving that I was right. Really
Right.
was, Mr. Skeptic going, okay, I'm going to prove that this isn't real. Right.
Mm.
And then when I did that, and I really did exactly what you said, I stepped over the fear and
Yes.
the negativity and the doubt. And I
Yes.
went, let's really see what works, if this
Yeah.
works. And my brain went, you know what? It will. It
Yeah.
does.
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to keep doing that. You have to keep stepping out, because there's going to be more than one moment. Sorry, I know
Oh,
you're going to wrap
oh,
this up.
oh, no, but no. But you're right. There is more than one moment. It's those little aha moments as you're going through
Yeah.
that really go, oh, and really. And so the best part about what we do too is, when we say we're there to help others, we really are. And the way that we do it is everything about our introductions and you learning about the business, for somebody who's watching, is all really centered for you.
Yes.
It's for them. And I mean, you can go to any of our websites, and register and watch our info session instantly, or watch it live. But at the same time, again, really think about it as an online business orientation to know what you need to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that part is very cool. And then it expands to say, what we do and how we do, help you with what you need to do,
Yeah.
and why this business is a proven business and it's successful. And even from there, the next step is, you're welcome to join a private Facebook group. We'll invite you, and you can see what people are doing all over the world.
Yeah.
Again, that's free, right? No obligation whatsoever. Check it out. We're there for you to learn more, to see if you're still, on that path. And even then, the next step is, we have a small program fee of 149 USD. And that gets you in to really get into the details and really do your due diligence. And, you get mentors and coaches to help you understand and to see. And that's a 30-day money back guarantee. So really, everything about it is, do you want change? If you
Yeah.
want change, here's the tools that you can see if this is the right thing for you.
Absolutely.
And
That's
and people need to stop and just kind of look. Like, I really feel, if you don't go through all the steps, you're not doing yourself any favors.
yeah.
um, because those steps are there to help you learn and to really give you opportunities.
Hmm.
And the more you spend on really thinking how this can change your life, instead of Elden version of looking for all the flaws, uh,
Yeah.
it will change your life.
Yeah.
And so on that note, unless you have anything you want to say to wrap up my little spiel.
No, I just wanted to say that, once they do hit our private Facebook group, they will actually see that we are just ordinary people.
Yep.
No, we're nothing. Well, we are special, but we're nothing special. We're just ordinary people, and they will see that. They will see that when they go in.
It's true, because we are, and that's the beauty, and this is our 7th anniversary of a
Yeah.
business community, which is really, really cool. And we have a big celebration coming up, which is even cooler. So I think that's awesome. So on that note, thank you very much, Deborah, for being here. I really appreciate it. This was a great chat, and thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much, Elden, and thank you for being such a massive impact in our community as well. You're always there on the other end of my questions, and I thank you for that. And
Uh,
I'm number 50.
You're number 50, so this is very cool. So thank you very much, and it's always a pleasure to help people. And on that note, everybody have a great day wherever you are, and take care of each other.
Bye, everyone.